Okay, welcome to Crypto Night, everybody. So, last week we saw an article uh, show up uh, in some of the Bitcoin or crypto community sites, and we saw this article was mentioned throughout social media in the crypto community, and the article was around the potential for Russia to divert some of its foreign currency reserves into Bitcoin. And the article quoted a local Russian media as well as a well-known professor in Russia. And quite honestly, when we saw this show up in social media and in a couple different press spots, we didn't give much thought to it because there's so many rumors in the cryptocurrency community. You can't chase down all of them. But there were a couple things that were kind of unique or interesting about this story, so we pursued it further. So, first, before we get into it, let's talk about Russia. So Russia is actually the largest country in the world in terms of the square mileage of land and water. It's 17 million square kilometers, so it's ranked first in the world in terms of the size of the country. Ninth in terms of population with just over 142 million. Sixth in terms of its GDP at 4 trillion US dollars per annum. And in terms of gold reserves, Russia ranks fifth globally. So now that we've established or got everyone grounded in the facts around Russia, let's go back to this article or this story that's been bubbling up. But to do that, we need to go back maybe a year and a half ago. So here's a letter from the Russian Association of Cryptocurrency and Blockchain. It's basically a letter from October of 2017. So remember, this is right before cryptocurrencies hit all-time highs. This was a letter basically expressing interest that the Russian government had in the NEO token or the NEO blockchain technology. So the point here is that there is a precedent for the Russian government having interest in cryptocurrency and blockchain. Additionally, in that same year or earlier in that year, one of the founders of the Ethereum blockchain, Vitalik Buterin, was actually at a conference or meeting with Vladimir Putin. And you can see on this picture, Mr. Putin is sort of left of center, and young Vitalik Buterin is on the right side of the photo, glancing down across the table at this conference at Mr. Putin. So they were at this conference together. I understand they had some exchange. And of course, while I believe growing up in Canada, Vitalik Buterin's background is Russian. Not that means anything, but just highlighting that there has been expressed interest in blockchain and cryptocurrency technology by the Russian government. And so the reason why we're looking a little closer at this story is because now, this week, as it is now in the second week of January, so the story has been out bubbling around for about a week. We now see the story getting some traction in mainstream media and from some credible sources. So the Telegraph out of the UK, in the technology section of their paper, they mention this story. Headline: Russia plans to tackle U.S. sanctions with Bitcoin investment, says Kremlin economist. This economist is the same professor that I mentioned earlier. And also this week, Fortune magazine also published on their website a story that Russia is considering a shift to Bitcoin to limit the impact of U.S. sanctions. So referencing the same report. Also, another credible source of this story is Mr. Barry Silbert. So Barry is the CEO of Digital Currency Group. His net worth is $500 million, mainly in crypto, and he is known for selling an exchange that focused on tough-to-trade assets to NASDAQ back in 2015. And so the reason why I mention Barry is because he actually, I think on his Twitter page, he mentions this same story. So just raising that because this story has been out there for almost 2 weeks and it's starting to get picked up in mainstream media. So potentially a credible story. Where there's smoke, there could be fire. So just again raising this for the community. As we mentioned, this was out in or rumored, but now starting to get picked up in some credible sources. So more to come, perhaps. So as per usual, please share this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.